And it's live time. Hello, my Jedi friends. Welcome to another little stream of mine, a tiny little stream. And the question today is, are you the brave? Are you the brave? So there's a lot of content on my channel. He talks a lot. That bald bloke talks a lot. Talk a lot. But what's it all about, really? What is it all about? What's the purpose? Why talk? All these subjects, all this pain that you have to sift through. Adam, stop it. Why must we go through this? Why? What is it all about? Why are you finding yourself watching this random video? What is it? What has drawn you here? The question is. And really, it is a case of being brave. So there's a lot of stuff for highly sensitive people, for empaths, for people that are tapped in, that life gives us some lemons, my Jedi friends. It throws lemons in our direction sometimes, and a few plums, a few various vegetable types thrown in our path. Why? It's not because you're a farmer, or maybe you are. Maybe you are a farmer. They're throwing vegetables your way, throwing lemons in your path. Who knows? But the fact is that we're here for life's challenges, and life was never meant to be easy. But Adam, no, they told me I could have it all. They told me I could have it all. They told me life could be easy. They told me. Why? Why this? Why am I having to navigate boss level narcissists right now? Why? Why is the question. So that's what we're going to ask today. What is it about? And the bottom line is that to face this stuff square on, you do need to have an element of bravery. That's part of the journey. You've got to have a bit of bravery. You've got to step up. Now, it's a lot easier to not step up and to complain about everything that's gone wrong, poor you, and to create a victim story around the stuff that happens. And that's very alluring and seductive and easy to do. It's easy to do because people will feel sorry for you. You don't deserve it. Little old you, there minding your own business, being a good person, trying to do your best for society, and then suddenly they just throw you this pile of excrement to deal with. And you have to one day wake up and be brave. So what is it all about? Well, this stream is really just to tell you that it ain't going to be easy. It's not going to be easy, my Jedi friend. It really is. Waking up, getting out of the situation that you find yourself, and actually dusting yourself down and realizing that life has given you a bit of a bum deal is part of life. It's part of life, and nobody stays on course. Nobody gets born, or maybe I'm wrong here, but there's not many people born, if any, with a clear understanding of why they're here and what their purpose is. And part of life is you have to veer off track. We all have to veer off track occasionally, my Jedi friends, and that's just par for the course. That's what it's all about, veering off track. And the thing is, sometimes it's not going off track slightly. It's not going to be enough to wake you up. You have to go massively off track to finally realize, actually, maybe I'm off the track. Maybe I'm off the track. And how do you get yourself back on? You find yourself so far off the track, you might be lost in the woods. You've been going so far off the track for so long, you didn't even realize that was happening. And now you've got no idea where you're at. So let's talk about this. How do you navigate that place? How do you wake up? How do you wake up? How do you navigate that place? What can you do? What can you do, my Jedi friends? So as ever on these live streams, if you're watching, it's very interactive. By all means, jump on, say hello, ask any questions you've got, say any comments, things that you want to share, then by all means do so. That's where we're at. But in the interim, we're going to talk about this really difficult place that a lot of people find themselves in, and that's the awakening. The awakening. The awakening. Now, we hear this term thrown around a lot. And how do I simplify this into practical terms? What is awakening? Well, the first part of awakening is realizing that life is not what you thought it was. One day you wake up and something just feels wrong. And maybe stuff's felt wrong for a while, but it hasn't been wrong enough for you to really take ownership of just how wrong it was. And eventually one day you wake up and you think, well, no, this is so wrong that I have to do something about it. I have to. Maybe there's boss level narcissists in your world. That's quite often a catalyst to do stuff about these things. And it's never easy, my Jedi friends. So the first thing and the hardest thing to do is acknowledge that things have to change. Things have to change. But let's talk about how you get there, how you got there to the dark place. So people with high empathy. Now, I talk about this a bit, but it's so important that I think it needs to be emphasized. People that are generally high empathy, people that generally are good with people, people that generally are the peacemakers, the mediators, the harmony within groups. The harmony is where it's all at. And from that perspective, it's so often that people that play that role believe it's not their job to rock the boat. If there's relative peace and quiet, then it's not your job to disturb it. Other people do that, and you solve it. You are the problem solver for all. That's how you show up. That's how you rock, my Jedi friends. That's how you rock. So when you do eventually awaken to the deep sense that something is really missing or wrong with your life, it takes a lot of motivation. It takes a lot of awareness, and it takes monumental courage to actually do anything about it. Because the odds are that no one else is feeling that way around you. You have been the rock for everyone else. So is it your job to wake up day and start being the disruptor, to start saying no, to start really throwing the toys out of the pram, which is what you might feel like doing. And however bad it is, you've reached a point. You have to reach a point. There's always going to be a point on the road where that happens, where you've just got to take action. You've got to do something about it. And quite often it is stimulated by a ton of pain. A ton of pain, my Jedi friends. That's what is often necessary to get you to the point of waking up to this. And that's where it's at. That's where it's at, my Jedi friends. So what do? You find yourself out in the outback, in the middle of nowhere, lost, no navigation, no compass, no water bottle. Now, you're in a potentially dangerous zone when you wake up to this because it's so unfamiliar. You're so used to being there for everyone else, with everyone else, that the day that you finally realize that you've got to deal with this quite often on your own, it's a scary place to be. It can be a scary place. So what's your first steps? So, well, we know the first steps. We know the first steps because we talk about this a lot when you're dealing with energy. So it doesn't matter where you find yourself. Working with energy is a set of tools. It's a bit like, what would I say? It's a bit like it's like a life raft. You could be lost at sea and you'll drown if you don't have something to hang on to. Now, working with energy is like having a blow-up life raft that you can use anytime, any place, that you can just do that. And it's entirely up to you when to use it, how to use it, if to use it. And that's where it's at. So using energy work is like throwing an anchor if your ship is drifting. It's a set of tools that you can turn your energy around, you can turn your focus around, you can turn your motivation around. It's not going to stop shit happening to you. It's going to give you that anchor, that life raft. When you catch yourself, it's a set of tools that you can actually do something to turn things around, to turn it around, my Jedi friend. So we talked about working with energy in the past. So let's just do it now. Even as you're listening to this stream, just slow down your breathing. That's where it all starts. It all starts with your breathing. And we're going to ground ourselves. Just staying grounded or getting grounded. Now, if you've got a grounding technique, use it. If you haven't, just imagine a ball of light at the center of the earth and a cord connecting to the base of your spine. Do that now. And just because energy follows thought, you're already grounded just by thinking about it. And slowing down your breathing. There's your first 2 steps out of any bad place. First 2 steps. Ground, slow down your breathing. Ground, slow down your breathing. Ground, slow down your breathing. Now, why am I repeating this? Because the Western mind needs complication. We need complication. It can't be that easy, Adam. It can't be that easy. My problem's so bad. I need more than that. I need more than just grounding and slow down my breathing. It doesn't work. You know, it doesn't maybe work instantly, but this is why meditation classes last for ages. The longer you do it, the better it is. And that's just to catch yourself with energy. Now, it seems like after a lifetime of dealing with stuff, how can you turn stuff around quickly? Well, maybe there is no quick answer, but this is how you reduce symptoms. It's that anchor. It's that life raft. It's not got you out of trouble, but it has definitely given you a place to start. So the life raft doesn't guarantee your safety, but it massively increases your chances of survival. Now, that's extreme because this isn't about survival, or maybe it is, because the thing is, if you don't have a way to turn yourself around when you're going down a mental health vacuum, a vortex, when you're being sucked down into the vortex, when you're in a negative mental state, if you don't have a set of tools to reverse things or to slow them down or to stop them, then you're going down. As sure as falling overboard in the middle of the ocean with no life raft, you're going down. Now, if you fall overboard in the middle of the ocean and you have a life raft, you're not guaranteed success, but your odds are massively increased. And this is what using energy is about. Now, how well you use it, how effective it is, well, that depends on what you do with it. And these are the tools. These are the tools we're talking about. Working with energy isn't going to magically transform your life. Quite often, it's going to drag you down into a much lower place because that's just the way it rocks. It drags you into a lower place because maybe you haven't had enough pain to put boundaries in place. Maybe you haven't had enough pain to walk out of the toxic relationship. Maybe you haven't had enough pain to up and leave and go somewhere else, do something else. Maybe you haven't had enough pain to leave your job. Whatever it is, there's probably something, there's like a big thing, and you're so used to certain aspects of it, like having a place to live, like having a place to work, that it just seems so inconceivable that you'd ever leave it, even though it's painful. That sometimes working with energy ups the pain, turns the volume up, so that you do what needs to happen to get out, to escape, to draw those solid boundaries in place, my Jedi friends. This is how it often works. And this is what you're looking for on this journey. It's really important to have that set of tools, to have that reversal. It's an emergency button. It's an emergency button. Press in case of emergency. Working with energy and having a set of energy tools is that button. That's what it is. It doesn't stop shit happening. It's not going to stop you from experiencing these crises that happen in your life. But what it's definitely going to do is stack the deck in your favor. And that's what working with energy is all about. That is what it is. Unfortunately, most people think that you have to wait until your life hits rock bottom to start using this stuff. Now, this was a mistake I made. When I started using energy, stuff happened. And when I had the breakthrough, I thought, wow, that was great. I've had the breakthrough, job done. In energy work, there's always another level. It's like playing a game and getting to the end of the first level and saying, right, well, that's it, job done. But there's another level. And me being delusional back in the day, thinking, well, I'm done now, not realizing there was another level. Now, if I'd kept using energy consistently, the odds are I wouldn't have had to be traumatized as much as I did to move up to the next level. But there was a big hiatus in my life. Life had to collapse. And then I had to say, oh, maybe it's time I use some energy now. Little did I know, my Jedi friends, if I'd been using it consistently all the way through, it probably would have been less traumatic. Of course, we can't predict stuff like that, but this set of tools, they really help. And the lesson as you get older is to realize that this is ongoing. Use energy every day. The more often you use it, the more often you won't lose it. Use it so that you don't have to lose it. You will lose it if you're not using energy, because things will need to get to such a point in your life that you'll need to lose it. You'll feel like losing it. You're possibly watching this thing, you're thinking you are losing it. Who knows? I don't know. But the bottom line is that energy is there to be used all the time. It's not just a press in case of emergency system. It's not something that you have to wait till your life goes wrong. It's not something that you have to have pain, physical pain, before you start working with energy. Energy works all the time, and it always works in your best interests. And it takes most healers or people that use energy a lifetime to wake up to this. And this is why I do the Jedi Training Academy, because it's not enough just to teach people energy. You have to get used to using it. And not only that, you've got to get used to the different things that can happen, different things that can go wrong, the different ways it can throw you off the path, the different ways it can blow up your life occasionally. And you say, oh, well, the energy work's not working because look what's going on. If you don't understand these concepts, then it will look like it is going wrong. Now, sometimes things can go badly wrong or feel like they're going badly wrong, but they're actually working in your favor. Let's take a few examples here. So if any of you have been in any sort of relationship breakup, and possibly you've had massive trauma as you're going through it, but then you get out the other side, you realize at some point that relation wasn't good for either of you, and then you move on. And you realize down the line out the other side that that breakup was the best thing that happened to you. But when you're in the middle of it, it doesn't feel like it. Same with things like divorce. Same with things like leaving your job or being made redundant. Stuff like that, like big stuff that goes wrong. You realize at the time it feels like the world is collapsing. So if you were using energy while that stuff's going on, it would be very easy to blame the energy. Energy work did this to me. Not the fact that you needed it. Oh, working with energy didn't work for me. It didn't work for me. Well, actually, maybe it did. You just didn't see it that way. And this is why energy mentoring is really important. It's really important that you've got somebody that understands what it means, understands the symptoms, understands what might happen and potentially go wrong if you're using stuff like this. And that's where it's really important, my Jedi friends. Really, really important when you're working with energy to understand the multiple different aspects of it and the fact that it can go wrong occasionally or seem to go wrong. When things are going right, it can seem to go wrong. And sometimes when things are going right, it can it can seem to be, or when you think it's going right, it's actually going wrong. And this is also another thing that we can't always see what we need. You don't know what's around the corner. You might not have woken up to your purpose. You might think that a sweet life is doing what you're currently doing and just being left alone. But then if that's not in alignment with your purpose and you're working with energy, it might have to really mix things up might have to make things go wrong before they can go right. And these are the things, the little subtleties, the little nuance, my Jedi friends, of working with energy. And that's why I love it. And that's why we do energy mentoring. Don't just teach you the techniques, how to use energy. You have to be there as you go through it. And what I can say is that in my the last set of the Jedi Training Academy, people did flare up. It did seem to go wrong. I got a ton of questions about it's not working. And yet people were explaining to me how it wasn't working. And then they were also explaining the stuff that was happening that made it very clear from my perspective that it was working. That sometimes when stuff is working, you can't always see that it is. And having that unique perspective, having that person with a little bit more experience of working with this stuff than you do, it's not just a good thing. It's not just a good thing to have. It's absolutely essential. Unless you want to spend a hell of a lot more time on the journey doing this stuff. Now, it's interesting. I see a few of you watching now. If you've got any questions or any comments on this stuff, please do join in. It's an interactive stream, my Jedi friends. And if you've got any questions about working with energy, or if you do work with energy, or if you found stuff that working with energy that's been interesting to you, by all means, share your stories, your experiences, your questions. Go for it. Because today is just really talking about what it is, how it can help you, and the numerous different mistakes that people make when they hear about energy or they're working with it. And this includes serious people that have been working with energy for years. There's so much that isn't explained. So one of the things that mystifies me is that so many energy healing systems, they don't explain properly how to clear your energy. Now, working with energy is a bit like going in the kitchen. You can cook a good meal, but it ain't going to clean itself up. The kitchen will still be a mess unless you learn to clean up after you. And it's exactly the same with energy. If you go in using it and you don't understand how it works, it's a bit like leaving the kitchen in a mess. It doesn't matter for that meal, but when you go back for the next, things are messy. Things are a little bit messier because you didn't clear your energy. You didn't clear the kitchen. And let me tell you how that manifests for healers quite often. And people that don't clear their energy system or clear their energy after using energy, you will see that they'll eventually put on weight. Eventually put on weight, my Jedi friends, if you don't understand how energy works. Because if you don't clear your energy, you're actually going to take stuff on. And you think you're doing a good thing for whoever it is you're taking it on for. But in actual fact, it's the opposite. It's the complete opposite. Yes, they might feel better at the end of it, but you, by taking on board their energy and not clearing it, you're pretty much taking one for the team. This whole thing, a problem shared is a problem halved, is never so true with energy work. When we talk about energy work, because if you don't clear your energy when you've been working with someone, and that includes someone telling you their problems, if you don't know how to clear your energy system, you take on board their energy, you're like a magnet. And that is why, here's the symptom. That's why if you spend time with someone that's in a low energy place and they just tell you all their problems, and at the end of it, they'll say, oh, thank you. I feel great. I feel much better. You're brilliant. You're brilliant. You're brilliant. You're brilliant at this. And yet you'll feel drained. That is the litmus test. That's how you know. That's how you know that what I'm telling you now is true. Because that's what happens. You take on board their energy. You're like a magnet. And people will just dump their energy. They won't do it consciously, especially if they don't know how energy works. But that's how it does work. And if you don't understand the intricacies of this dynamic, then you'll eventually put on a lot of weight. That's the way the cookie crumbles, my Jedi friend. So these are the sort of things that I like to teach people, the things that I found that mainstream teaching in the world of energy seems to forget or lack or not tell you, or deliberately not tell you, or not know to tell you because they don't understand it. A lot of systems don't understand this. You get a basic training, 1 or 2 degrees. There you go. There's an energy system. Go off and use it. Go off and heal the world. Heal the world. You go off and heal the world. There you go. But if you don't understand what it does, how it works, and how to offset it, how to set your boundaries, how to set your energy space, how to work with energy, how to understand the symptoms, then things can go very, very wrong. Very quick, my Jedi friends. Sometimes not always that quick. You know, especially not clearing your energy and putting on weight. That usually happens over time. It compounds. Things can compound if you don't get it, if you don't work with it properly, if you don't understand this dynamic. And that is where it's at. So working with energy is an intricate thing. Understanding exactly how it works, that's an intricate thing as well. The most important thing probably of all is learning to keep your energy space clear, learning how to clear it, learning how to get rid of other people's energy when you spend time with them. Or even better, learning how not to take on board other people's energy when you're spending time with them. So here we go. We have got Planet C64 has joined in. Welcome, Planet C64. Here I am, look, 26 minutes into a stream, and you're the first person to pipe in. I was beginning to feel I was in a ghost town here, seeing people watch me and nobody joining in. Nobody was joining in. So thank you, Planet C64. So just joining quickly, must wait for the replay today. Wishing all the best. Compassion is what's needed, I think, and yes, it takes courage. Thank you for helping us find our bravery. Well, you're very welcome, Planet C64. It is the way, it is an awakening now. People with high empathy, people in the energy world, you feel it. Every single cell of your body feels something. And it probably feels really, really, really uncomfortable. Because there's stuff to be done, and you possibly know what it is, but you don't want to do it. Feeling the resistance, feeling the force, feeling the force. And I can say from personal experience, it is bloody uncomfortable. I don't like it. Yes. So I think the universe has put me in a unique position lately to really up the game on the challenges that have come my way. So that I'm not just talking about this stuff, I'm having to own it as I go. It really is the case. In my own world, I've just had this absolute build-up of boss-level narcissists come into my world to wake me up. So let's take the empowered approach here. They have been sent to wake me up. It's not a punishment. It is an awakening. It's an acknowledgement. Adam, you've gone most of your life now and you haven't woken up to the bigger picture of it. So we need to wake you up now. We need to turn up the pain button to get you to own this, to take ownership of it. And I think a lot of people that are sensitive to energy are feeling that right now. A lot of empaths, a lot of people that that they have to wake up. Let's face it, we're on a tipping point. The consciousness on this planet is at a tipping point. We need everyone that's sensitive to energy, everyone with high empathy needs to wake up and play their part now. That's why you're feeling uncomfortable. That's what the calling is. That's what it's all about. And that's why I'm doing these live streams and on this channel and talking about the stuff I do. Because I've been guided. My life, the pain, they turned up the pain in my life until I actually got what my message was, to help other people wake up. That's what it is. But first, before I helped other people wake up, I had to wake up myself. And it's fucking brutal, is what I will say about that. There's part of me is like, no, I've changed my mind. No, really, I'm not sure I really want to be awake. Can I trade the red pill for the blue? No, I had to go through this. It was an inevitability. No, my Jedi friend, you must awaken. You must awaken the force within you. But first, we have to blow up your life. And that's really what's happened to me over the last 6 months for certain. So Tammy is in the house. Thank you, my second Jedi friend, to join the comments. Good morning, Adam. I've been listening, but it's breakfast time here in America. Well, I appreciate that, Tammy. I appreciate it's very early where you are. And I also appreciate that you've taken your time to text in this little message while you're eating your breakfast. So, welcome. Welcome. Good morning to you, my Jedi friend, from the breakfast table, no doubt, taking time to listen in to this little live stream while you're on your breakfast. So fair play, fair play. Couple of Jedis in the house. Always good to know, my Jedi friends. But I just have to keep emphasizing that people that are sensitive to energy, people that are empaths, people that are good people, people that possibly have a lifelong battle with people pleasing, it's time to wake up. And what does waking up mean? What does it actually mean? Well, it means that whatever the issue is in your life, and in a lot of cases, it's going to be dealing with a narcissist. The narcissist is there just to keep on your case until you get very clear boundaries and get them out of your life. That's the bottom line. You have to wake up. You have to wake up. Grizzly Girls in the house. Look at that. Went to bed at 3 a.m. I don't think I slept, and woke up at 5:55. So good morning all. Well, thank you, Grizzly Girl. The 555, well, there's the calling. The messages are coming out of the cosmos thick and fast at the moment. They really are. I did a little video. I was guided to do that thing on the 1111, the 1111, like all the messages. What do they mean, though? What does it actually mean? Well, they're all signs for you to interpret, but it's all about waking up. The time to wake up. The reason you're watching now is time to wake up. The reason that you're feeling all the stuff that you are at the moment is time to wake up. The reason that life gets so uncomfortable is time to wake up. Because you never got it when they were trying the sweetness and light approach. I never got it. I had a wonderful time. I actually look back. I was having this conversation yesterday. But one of my best friends and spiritual mentors always told me I had to wake up. He used to run a program called The Awakening. Give me a free pass. I used to be a right-hand man there guiding her on this course, showing people to wake up, and had insight to all of this great wisdom. And unfortunately, tragically, she died a few years ago. Here's a story. She always said, Adam, the universe has your back. The universe has your back, Adam. The universe has your back. And about, I think it was probably about a year afterwards, probably longer, suddenly a psychic from India got in touch with me and said, Adam, thank God I found you. You know, I've been looking for you. I've had my whole team looking for you. I'm channeling Cedra. That was my friend. Said to contact you. And that was how I knew, like, the universe had my back. She always used to say, the universe has your back, the universe has your back, the universe has your back. That you don't get a clearer message than that the universe has your back. And I know that we're in the risk of being in an incredible woo-woo area right now. But she had to give me a nudge from the other side to wake me up because I was so stubborn. I was so resistant to waking up. She had to die so that I could get it. So there you go. I'd be doing her a disservice if I wasn't on this path right now, because she always told me that the universe had my back. She's now absolutely proved it beyond all doubt. And I know that my role is to facilitate awakening for the people that need to wake up. The planet needs you, my Jedi friends. The planet needs you. So Tammy's back. Okay, with energy and vibrations and such, still learning terms. What about the signs along our path of awakening? Also, if you're curious, pancake, eggs, bacon, real maple syrup and blueberries. Well, thank you, Tammy, for sharing that. I mean, that sounds all wonderful, except I'm a veggie, so I'd probably drop the bacon, but the rest sounds like a winner, an absolute winner on that front. So fair play. Enjoy your breakfast. So yes, there's a lot of terminology that gets used loosely. And I realize when we talk about energy, vibrations, the awakening, what does it mean? Let me make this as practical as I can to you. How you feel is your energy, your vibration, and your awakened state. If you're feeling shit, then that's not energizing and it's not a good vibration. But it's not a bad thing either, because if you are feeling that way, that's your body's wake-up mechanism. If you're not getting the vibe, if you're not energizing yourself, if you're not living a higher vibe life, if you're not able to catch yourself and turn your energy situation around, then your body, your situation, your world will get increasingly painful until it stops becoming a could do and starts becoming a must do. And that often, for sensitive people, is the point where you're staring in the precipice and questioning your whole life. And quite often that can accompany suicidal thoughts. Quite often it will get you in a very, very low place. But what happened to me, talking about my experience, and I can't talk for you, what will happen to you when you hit this point? What happened? I stopped feeling. And when I stopped feeling anything, I started to see everything way more objectively. Not only that, I was able to deal with the narcissists in my life because they couldn't trigger me from that place. I'd hit such a low that I could see everything really clearly. I woke up and I could face my biggest challenges easily. And it took me to get to a really low vibration to hit that. So when we're talking about the up and down, high vibe, yeah, it's nice to be high vibe. But sometimes energetically, you have to go really low vibe to get it, to wake up, to see the roses, the awakening, the wake-up call. And this is what people don't understand when we talk about energy. Sometimes working with energy has to suppress you and take you down to get that point. To get what's come from me now is actually fearlessness that I can do live streams like this. I don't care if I fuck it up. You know, most of my in fact, all of my videos are first takes. I've stopped worrying about anything close to perfection. I just thought, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. Just going to record it. Just going to do it. I recorded a couple of videos here. They've so far left field. I was just playing with some of the thumbnails, and they'll come up within the next week. Just, it was so effortless now. And all of this happened because I got to such a low point that I stopped worrying about anything close to perfection and started embracing imperfection. Starting to embrace all of my imperfection and think, well, actually, that's probably more of what people need right now. It's what people need. You know, I think in the media, you know, what people think that they want is this perfect thing. I see all this video editing now of people when I watch their videos, and it's cut. It's almost like it's some AI bot, because they're cutting out all of their imperfections to get this seamless presentation. I lost the need to do that, and that was one of the biggest gifts that happened, and that only happened when I had to hit a really low zone to get complete different perspective on everything. Now, that's my reality. It may not be yours. That's my reality of working with energy. That may not be yours. But the fact is, not many people talk about this. They talk about energy. High vibe. Yes, let's get high vibe. Let's energize. It doesn't always work that way. It really doesn't. So Grizzly Gurr says, it's content, really, not quantity. There you go. Yes, exactly. So, you know, content happens when you just sit down, you just decide to be authentic. And that's the way that I show up these days. And today, my Jedi friends, today I'm starting the next Jedi Training Academy. I'm starting it an hour after this stream. So I thought I'd do this stream to give you all one last opportunity to join this one, because I know some big things are going to happen on this. I actually feel it. I actually feeling that this is going to be big. And we're going to do 3 months. We're going to do mentoring. We're going to be moving forward. I'm going to explain all of the stuff, but it's more than just explain it. You're actually going to live it. You're going to get to live it. And that's what energy work is about. That's what awakening is about. The reason that you do it is because you know you want change and you understand intellectually a lot of the concepts that I talk about, but you're still not there. Now, if you could get there through just watching content, you would be there now. But if you're not, that's why I'm doing the Energy Training Academy, the Jedi Training Academy. This is to really hold people's hand and show them how to do this, exactly what I'm talking about here. And I believe, I mean, the stuff that I normally charge for this Jedi Training Academy would be, if you paid for 2 hours with me, that's what you would pay for 3 months of mentoring. I've done it to make it as easily accessible to everybody, because that was what I was called. And obviously you need to understand what it is you're doing, and people need to wake up quickly. And not everyone that needs to wake up quickly has the money to afford to do this, which is why I'm doing the Jedi Training Academy. But here's my promise to you, that it will never be at this price again. When it goes up, that's it. It's never going to go down. It will never be at a lower price than it is now. That is definitely a promise. It will never, ever, ever, my Jedi friends, be at a lower price, because you have to value what you're doing. And not only that, part of it is you have to value yourself. And I have spent, and I will tell you this transparently, tens of thousands of pounds in training to get me to this point. Going through it, having to travel abroad to get all of the accommodations to go on these courses, go on these mad retreats, to go to Thailand to meditation retreats where it was quiet for 10 days at a time. That was part of the journey as well, to see if I really had it, to see if I was waking up to it. So the point being that this is an investment. I always knew that I had to invest in myself. And that is what this is. It's an investment in yourself to wake up, to get on the Jedi Training Academy. So I'd be foolish not to plug it and to give you an opportunity to get involved, because this is going to be life-changing. I know it is. There's not many people that will run a course and they'll tell you that that is the case, but this is. This absolutely is the case for this. And that is what it's all about, my Jedi friends. That is the journey that we must make. The journey that we must make. The awakening process can be brutal. It can be brutal. And that's what we're going to do. So that's the Jedi Training Academy. That is the invite to you. I would say get in touch. If you're any inclination, let's have a conversation about that, because this will be transformative, will be life-changing. And these academies, they're designed to help you. And not only that, but what I'll do is just, I will be holding this price. If anyone gets involved before this one, I'll hold this price. If you can't make this one, then I'll apply that set of prices to the next one when we do it. So Tammy said, I just remember something Dad said, learning to get out of our own way. Is this similar, what you are doing for us? Absolutely. And not only that, Tammy, transparently, learning to get out of my own way has been a big part of the journey. We all get in our own way. The biggest gift an empath has is themselves and their skill set and their empathy. The biggest curse an empath has is themselves and their need to think that they have to do everything for everyone else. You know, this is actually about taking ownership of your own energy and learning how to be more selfish. Learning how to be more selfish. But before you get charged or triggered by that, this is the case that, you know, if you want to drink, if you want to live, you have to hydrate. And if you want to hydrate, you have to fill your own cup up first and drink. If you're more hydrated, you can help more people. The problem is most people that are sensitive to energy, they give away all their water. forget to drink themselves. And that is the awakening. That's the wake-up call where you've got nothing left. Your energy's gone. You wake up one day, you're not as fit, you're not as able to do it, you're not as energized, you're not feeling it, you're wondering what's going on. And what this is, the awakening is the wake-up call to start taking your energy and life more seriously for the good of the people that actually care about you. Now, what's interesting about this is your friends, your real friends, will embrace you if you do that. If you get more selfish, your real friends will love you for it. They'll love you because they want you to feel better. Anyone that isn't really your friend, your false friends, the illusion of life, your fair weather friends, your taker friend, your leecher friends, they won't like it. They won't like you feeling better or prioritizing your own means or your own energy because they were never your friend. So what this awakening is not only about you feeling better, it's about the reality. The curtain is revealed. This is a Wizard of Oz moment. This is when you pull up the curtain and everything gets revealed in your life. You realize who's who. And you can't realize who's who till you have this awakening. And you have this awakening, and then you put your energy first. You learn how to look after yourself first. So here we go. The questions are coming in now. Grizzly Girl, do you believe in witchcraft? Now, there's a charged question for a YouTube live, isn't it? So yes, not necessarily witchcraft as you would traditionally know it as, but I know that energy works. And if somebody has bad energy and bad intention, then that can be used and channeled in ways that would not be helpful to humanity. Just ask witch doctors, go down to Africa and see how witch doctors work. And most of that is because people give them the power, they give them the authority. So here's something that you need to know about all of these things, these energy things and these witchcraft. Nobody can use witchcraft or energy or anything of any kind if you learn how to shut your energy field. People can only enter your energy zone if they have permission. And if you don't know how to set your energy field, your default setting is on permission. So there you go. There's another reason to work with energy. Shows you have to set your energy so that nobody can fuck with you. And if you don't know how to use energy, it means that potentially everyone can fuck with you. And this is why empaths fall into this trap so often. Your energy is like a magnet. It really is, 24/7. And most empaths feel down because they don't understand this. They take on board other people's energy. The odds are, if you haven't learned how to clear your energy field, that you're probably walking around now with less than 3% of your own true essence energy. That was a brutal awakening for me when I started working with energy. And this was a system of energetic NLP. But if you don't know how to set your energy, you will take on board others. You'll probably be running most of your life with about 97% plus energy of other people that you've taken on board. And what are the symptoms? What are the symptoms of that? You'll definitely be putting on weight at that stage. And you will definitely feel a low vibe. Because what you've done is taken on a hit for the team. If you don't know how to clear your energy field, if you don't know how to use energy, if you don't know how to manage your energy, if you don't know how to set your energy, these are just some of the symptoms that can manifest. And they're just the practical ones. So going back to the witchcraft question, Grizzly, I hope that answers your question. So yes, and not only that, I will say this, I have met witches, some white witches. I had an ex-girlfriend that was a witch. Would that surprise anyone? Would it surprise anyone? I learned some interesting things on that little excursion. So yes, I definitely believe in it. I hope that answers your question. And I'm sure that little piece of information doesn't surprise anyone that's regular on this stream. So with that in mind, my Jedi friends, I would encourage you to reach out to me if you've got any questions about this, because this could change your life. I'm not going to say it could. It will. If you do it, it will change your life. It will change your life. So Grizzly says, yes, I've been a victim of witches. Well, there you have it, Grizzly. If you don't know how to set your energy field or protect your energy, then everybody could be a victim of malevolent workers in the energy world. And they're not just witches either. There's all sorts. There's all sorts out there, my Jedi friends, but that's probably a topic for another live stream. The same bat time, same bat channel. Somewhere down the line, we can talk about that. We talk about it, interestingly enough. We did go there on the Jedi Training Academy in the last group, because I am there. I answer questions that people have 24/7 on a group in between the sessions, and we do a live session every week for 3 months, which is 13 sessions, where weekly we show up and we learn about energy, and we learn about boundaries, and we learn about clearing our energy field. And a lot of it, some of it is teaching, but most of it is just reminding people to do it and to do it and to do it and to do it and to keep doing it, and then to keep doing it more. And it is that constant reminder that we're always using energy. We always need to be clearing our energy field, and we always need to be putting ourselves first for the good of everybody that actually gives a shit about us. And the people that give a shit about you will want you to put your energy first. And there's the paradox that most empaths have to come to. This belief that you drop everything to help everyone. No, 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 no. You put your own energy first. You prioritize your own energy. You set your own energy. You get your own energy straight. You feel better for it. And then everybody benefits. Everybody. Everybody that matters benefits. People that love you the most, they see the change and they are happy for you. You will never be resentful about you putting your own energy first. And this is that strange paradox that most people that are sensitive to energy have to get their head around, like really get their head around. And this is something I can talk about all day, but we only really get to the heart of it usually in month 3 of the Jedi Training Academy. Because people have to smack their head on every other wall to actually get this message. And I know I can talk about it all day. I can tell you everything that we do on the Jedi Training Academy, and it still won't be enough for you to get the change in 9 out of 10 cases, probably 99 out of 100 cases, because it's experiential. And sometimes you just need somebody to help you. And that's what I do. That is what I do, my Jedi friends. That is what I do. Here we go. So Grizzly says, I need a paid session for personal. Already spent $500 online coaching. Still feel stuck though. Well, look, Grizzly, not everyone's as well qualified or as ethical as I am. And I am going to big myself up now, because I've seen plenty of shit coaches out there. Plenty of charlatans, and this place is filled with people that will charge you massive amount more than what I'm charging you, and they won't give a shit whether you get the result or not. That's just the way that some people roll. You know, you have to get used to, there's a certain point, there's a leap of faith, isn't there? Yes, you have to value it. I have spent hundreds of thousands of pounds training. And there was one guy I paid £25,000 for a life membership, turned out to be the massive narcissist from hell and refused to give me any sort of refund. So yeah, we've all been there. We've all been there. Now, retrospectively, I look back at that now and I think, well, actually, I learned a lot about boundaries and sticking up to my ground. You know, I never got that money back. And I had to ask myself, well, what have I learned from this? I've just been pretty much fucked over. But it was my job to take empowered learnings out of that. And how did I do that? Well, one, I realized that I would never do that to anyone else, that was no way to run a business. That if I was going to teach something, it was really important I had to live it as well. And that's the big difference with a lot of coaches. It's very easy to give advice to everyone else, but can you live it and maintain it in your own life as well? So there's a big point of, you know, congruence as well. And just because you get fucked over with one bad actor doesn't mean that you should stop trusting everyone else. Because all of the best lessons, yes, you have to pay for them. All of the energy stuff that I teach, I've had to pay for to learn. And I've had to pay for 6 different systems of energy work to teach what I teach now. So yeah, I've got no problem taking money anymore for what I do because I know I'm good. And if there's anyone I find that's better than me, and dare I say it? No, I am going to fucking say it. Yeah, there's not many as ethical and good and qualified as I am at what I do. And when I find someone that's more ethical and good or qualified at what I do, I usually bring them on a live stream here so that you can get to meet them. Because it doesn't matter. There's 2 aspects to working with energy. Firstly, there's the skill. You got to have the skill and the awareness and knowing your shit. Let's call it that. You've got to know your shit. But then there's another side that's just as important. Do you get on with the person that's teaching you? Now, I've known good teachers, but they didn't get on with me and they weren't answering my questions. And I just stopped learning. No, I'm out. Now, these are people that are very well qualified to teach, but I didn't like them. So everyone has to find their own way on this journey. And that's why I'm showing up here, because I know that there's possibly other people out there that may be better qualified, a few of them. There's a lot of people that aren't. There's a hell of a lot of people out there charging more than I do that aren't nearly as qualified to teach energy or to help people through life's difficulties than I am. I understand that. We all have to find our own position within that. But it's taken me to this point that I can own that part of it. And that's just the way it rolls. Some people are bad actors. Some people are better. Some people are good at teaching. Some people aren't. Some people are great healers, but they're not good at teaching. Some people are great at teaching, but they're not good healers. Now, I like to think I'm a bit of both, but that's not for me to decide, and it's not for me to big myself up. I do need to get the testimonials on my site from the Last Jedi Training Academy, because that tells you independently what I'm telling you now. But them's the facts, my Jedi friends. Them's the facts. Now, with that in mind, after all that sort of bigging it up, I'm going to love you and leave you in the next couple of minutes, because I see that we're almost an hour up. And in an hour's time, I have a Jedi Training Academy to begin. So I have to clear my own energy and do my prep work for that. So if any of you have got any questions, anything that you want to say, any final comments, now would be the time to do them. Or forever hold your peace, my Jedi friends, my Jedi friends. So this is an invite to come and join this, but really it's an awakening call. Whether you do this with me, or whether you do it on your own, or whether you do it with someone else, it's time to wake up, my Jedi friends. It's time to wake up. And all the pain, all the frustration, all the things that are going wrong, they all happen for a reason, because you need to wake up. You need to wake up. I do have to sign up for a class. Do I have to sign up for a class? Well, yes, I would say, Grizzly, if you want to join it, then do sign up. You can do that through me. We can have a conversation about that. I'll tell you what I'm going to do right now. Here, look. I'm going to put my email address here on the stream. And I will say to anyone that wants to join, sign up or get in contact with me. Now, yes, we start the first one in an hour. Like, if you want to join in, that's okay. You don't necessarily need to be there at the first session. But if you want to join in this one, then get in contact with me and let's work it out. Let's come to an arrangement. If you need a payment plan, we can arrange that. If you need to know anything, if you need it answered, then we can have that conversation. But the fact is, this is going to be transformative for you. If all of the stuff that I'm talking about today, if it resonates with you, then get in touch. Get in touch, my Jedi friends. There's the invite. And until that point, I will love you and leave you. Oh, Glenn's just popped in. Just caught the end of the stream here. Thanks, Adam. All you lovely people, have a wonderful day. Thanks, Glenn. Thanks for jumping in. It's always good to see you, my Jedi friend. So yes, I am just wrapping things up now. But it has been a blast. It's been a blast for all of you empaths, for all of you Jedis that have been caught on this journey of this path of this brutal awakening. Just know that it is time. It is time for you to wake up, and all of the discomfort that you're feeling at the moment is for a reason. But good times lie through this. Good times lie through it, my Jedi friends. That's why we're happening. That's why it's happening. Tammy says, thank you, Adam, for always keeping it real. Blessings coming your way. Thank you, Tammy. Always a pleasure. Thank you all, especially those that contributed to the chat today. It's always good to get you involved, my Jedi friends. Thank you for showing up, and stay positive. Stay on track. Stay awakened, or stay awakening, because the world needs you to shine, my Jedi friends. It needs you to shine. And with that in mind, I shall love you and leave you, and wish you all a wonderful rest of your day.